willing to give you therapeutics. If a doctor gives you a pill, kind of like Obama said back, you guys remember that old audio clip when this lady asked Obama what she'll have to do with her dying mother or something to that effect, and he was like, give her a pill. That's basically what the left is doing now. They're telling a bunch of people that are getting sick from COVID, take a pill, go home. You know, if you almost die, come back and see us. Hospitals are doing that. That's crazy. It's ridiculous that you can get a shot or you can get hospitalized or even die. It makes no sense. So therapeutics are the answer. And I do believe a lot of these public officials and these health officials are killing people by not talking about and not ginning up, therapeutics. All right. This from Just the News. The numbers are skewed. Colorado officials warn of inflated COVID death statistics. Multiple public officials in Colorado are warning that the state's official COVID-19 death count is skewed due to the practice of conflating or confusing patients who have died directly from COVID-19, the disease, with those who have merely tested positive for it prior to the death. So you guys got me here. There's a differentiation here. There are people that are actually dying from COVID itself. Okay? Got it. And then there's people that may be dying of some other condition, but they may have tested positive for COVID. Perhaps they were even asymptomatic. Nonetheless, these people are getting registered as COVID-19 deaths when it isn't COVID that caused it. Now, I will say this as a caveat. There are some people that have some conditions, and COVID can worsen those conditions, and maybe make their demise come on more quickly. So we do have to be fair in that instance. But experts in the U.S. as health officials have failed to make those key distinction points when it comes to the government's tally of COVID deaths. So leading to accusations that the death rate for the disease is being inflated. And I know that it is. I'll tell you guys a story here quickly, something that happened here in Florida early on. Multiple public officials in Colorado are being told, this is from the host of Full Measure, Cheryl Atkinson, that they had personally observed death tallies that erred on the side of COVID, leading to death counts that were effectively misleading to the public. So this is from Brenda Brock. Brenda Brock is the coroner for Grand County, Colorado. And she told Cheryl Atkinson that in November, listen to this. And this isn't a one-off. She told Cheryl Atkinson that back in November, she processed a murder-suicide case. The very next day, that murder-suicide case showed up on the state website as a COVID death. Remember, hospitals get paid a buttload for COVID patients. What was it, 11, 13 grand, somewhere in that area, over 10 grand for COVID cases. A lot of these nurses and stuff that are working, I'm sure plenty are overwhelmed, but they're getting paid a buttload extra of COVID pay. But they were gunshot wounds. This person didn't die of COVID, of murder-suicide. It wasn't like, I'm going to cough in your face and then hold my hand in front of my face and cough in it and smear it, and this is a murder-suicide. No, it was bullets. It was a murder-suicide, and they counted it, the state officials in Colorado counted it as a COVID death. This lady, Brenda Brock, the coroner and medical examiner, again, of Grand County, Colorado, said she questioned that immediately because I had not even signed off on the death certificates yet, and the state was already reporting them as COVID deaths. This wasn't a mistake. Make no mistake about it. They weren't confused. This was deliberate. This is the type of behavior makes you question and wonder, how often is this going on? How many coroners, as a matter of fact, that perhaps weren't as diligent as her, that did this slip pass? Or maybe they just didn't check it because they assume the people that they're working with are moral. Notice how they perhaps even expected the coroner to go along with it, not talk back. So Brock claimed that authorities even counted 2 people who were still alive as COVID deaths. Can you believe that? So this is a quote from Brenda Brock. 2 of them were actually still alive, and yet they were counting them. Had I not called them on it and asked them who those were, where were they from, all the information about it, and it's like, oh, well, that was a typo. They just got put in there by accident. But this isn't just happening there. The same thing has happened, or there's stories of this happening in Denver, Colorado. This is from James Caruso. He's the medical examiner and the coroner for Denver. And he said he's heard similar complaints in Denver. He said, I was told by some of my fellow coroners in the more rural counties in Colorado that it was happening to them, that they knew of issues where they had signed out a death certificate with perhaps trauma involved, but it was it was counted as COVID. We'll be back with more of this on the other side.